Alexis Yonov. Am I saying that right?
Yes.
Alexis is our one of our female filmmakers whose film is going to be shown during a block of films on Friday night at First Energy Stadium. All films that we're showing at First Energy Stadium will also be shown online. So Alexis is based in LA, currently Zooming in from Texas. And Alexis, will you be joining us for the festival live or by Zoom?
By Zoom.
Terrific. So a lot of filmmakers aren't traveling this year. We normally have about 80% of our filmmakers represented at the festival, but 2020, as we all know, is a different kind of year. Alexis, welcome to Reading Film Fest.
Thank you for having me.
Sure. So you're going to join us later, I hope, in a Zoom call following the screening of your film. We're going to do a live Q&A. But today we just wanted to give people a peek at what to expect from the festival. So we've asked a few of our female filmmakers to join. Based in LA, what's some of the work that you're doing in LA, Alexis?
Well, right now we're just working with the film festivals and getting the gesture and the word out there, but I'm also working on a feature film version of the short, and I'm really excited about that one. And I have a couple other projects that I'm working on. One is in another feature that I'm writing called The Time of the Wolves, which is a very different type of film. It is inspired by the terror attacks in Paris in 2015. And the big thing about Paris for me is I lived there for 7.5 years, and I wrote the gesture and the word there, but I also wrote a first draft of The Time of the Wolves, and it's inspired by my experience during the attacks and how the hours, days, and weeks and month between a metro and a cafe, and how it affects several different women, and how these women's lives are changed from this experience, and how it is dealing with every type of woman, foreign, from the country that they're from, that we are setting it in. And then also I'm working on a documentary.
Oh, what's the doc about?
The documentary is about my father, who was a diplomat and was the last naval attaché to the Soviet Union and the first to Russia during the coup d'etat of 1991. And he was originally from Latvia and went back to Latvia to find his family that were lost to him. And he accidentally stumbled upon them, and that's how we reunited with our family.
Wow, that's a fascinating story.
So it's a lot of different things.
Yep. Well, I think that's kind of the filmmaker mantra. I mean, most of us have multiple projects going at one time. You know, having a doc and feature film at the same time is, or a couple of them, is interesting, and it's always challenging. And you know, one of the things that we as filmmakers know is that you got to have kind of a lineup because when somebody, a distributor, an investor, a production company may be interested in a certain product, you can go, hey, we've got this one going, right? Let's talk a little bit about the gesture and the word. I'd like to show, we are going to show the trailer for the film, which, by the way, I think is a very sweet, delightful film. I loved it. But if you could maybe set it up for us.
Okay, it's about a postman by the name of Gilbert who travels between 3 different people on his route. And he starts living vicariously through a relationship between a man who's traveling the world and his girlfriend. And Eric, who's traveling the world, sends her postcards, and Gilbert starts reading them. And then one day they stop being sent, and she's so sad that he decides to start making them for her as if he were Eric. And he gets the help of a blind poet to help him create these beautiful love letters that are like Eric's originals. But the old poet thinks he's actually writing to a flower girl who owns a shop.
You have a new flower today. Very fragrant. Where do you get these flowers?
Oh, there's this a woman down the street, a florist.
Eloise.
Yeah.
And you like her?
Anything interesting today?
I think she's very nice.
Nope.
Sorry.
It's only dinner. Tough day?
Disappointing.
Is everything all right?
How can I make someone see me for more than they think I am?
What do you see?
Tell me about your success with the film. I know that our audience is going to really enjoy this this film as much as I did. Tell us what you're doing. Where has it shown, and what festivals are you?
We've, wow, we just hit our 25th festival that we've been accepted into, and we started, I think, a couple months ago, really getting the answers back. We won Best Picture at the UK Motion Picture Film Festival. We won Best Female Director at the Montreal International Awards. I don't know if I said that correctly.
Congratulations.
And we have been nominated for 2 other Best Director awards, one in Oregon and one in Atlanta. And we got into LA Shorts, and we're doing LA Femme International Film Festival. So what's really great is that it's being looked at in LA as well as in other places, other states, other countries. I'm really excited to see it go farther. I'd love to see it in France because that's where I originally wrote it and what inspired the story. So what is so great and what I've really found to be heartwarming to me as a director is that the response people have had has been so positive. One person said that they were experiencing insomnia as the pandemic started, and he watched the movie and he said, after I watched the movie, I felt so relaxed and comfortable and happy that he went to sleep. And I was like, that's probably the best way. My movie made someone go to sleep. That's the best possible way that could happen. I've had grown men tell me they've gotten teary-eyed. I've had people come back and say, thank you. It's just made me feel so good. And I want to do movies that have political commentary, but this really has more of a commentary on how people can be loving to each other. And the fact that people have gotten that and felt something from it is the best thing I could possibly get from it.
Yeah, I think we all need a little bit more, maybe a lot more happy things to watch right now. So much of the media is so negative. And yeah, that was my experience as well. I'm one of those people that doesn't really enjoy, spending time watching things that make me feel sad or angry or, after a while you just need a little
Pick me up.
kitchen soup, a chicken soup, it's that, and that's kind of like what your film is. But it's a wonderful film. It was really well made, well written. And tell me a little bit about the festival experience and let our audiences know why festivals are important and what you get out of it as a filmmaker.
I think for me, it's the audience. Honestly, yes, you go to these amazing festivals, and even I've been to festivals where I've experienced it where you're physically there. And yes, that is an amazing experience, especially as a filmmaker where you're meeting other filmmakers, you're meeting your audience, you're talking to people, you're making those connections. But at the end of the day, if people don't see it and enjoy it and have that experience, there's no reason to make your film. And so festivals are so important to me because I get to see people getting that chicken soup, so to speak.
Sure.
And yes, it's great to meet other people, but you want your film to be seen. And and being a short filmmaker, it's a very different road than doing features. Mm-hmm. With shorts, you don't really have that avenue except to find the best way to get it seen.
Yeah, festivals are so important for short films. Otherwise, you never get to meet your audience.
No.
And it's harder this year because you're not going to be meeting your audience live. But we will bring audiences into our Zoom meeting. And for everybody, just so you know, after our block of female filmmaker shorts, any filmmakers who are present will be there for the Q&A, but at the same time, we're going to Zoom in Alexis and some of the other filmmakers who can't be there in person. And they'll participate live with our live audience. And then we're going to record the whole thing and put it up online.
Oh, wonderful.
So we're trying to make it as dynamic as possible in the world of Zoom. But about the festival experience, and let our audiences know why festivals are important and what you get out of it as a filmmaker.
I think for me, it's the audience. Honestly, it's, yes, you go to these amazing festivals, and even I've been to festivals where I've experienced it where you're physically there, and yes, that is an amazing experience, especially as a filmmaker where you're meeting other filmmakers, you're meeting your audience, you're talking to people, you're making those connections. But at the end of the day, if people don't see it and enjoy it and have that experience, there's no reason to make your film. And so festivals are so important to me because I get to see people, getting that chicken soup, so to speak.
Sure.
And yes, it's great to meet other people, but you want your film to be seen. And that, and being a short filmmaker, it's a very different road than doing features.
Mm-hmm.
With shorts, you don't really have that avenue except to find the best way to get it seen.
Yeah, festivals are so important for short films. Otherwise, you never get to meet your audience.
No.
And it's harder this year because you're not going to be meeting your audience live, but we will bring audiences into our Zoom meeting. And for everybody, just so you know, after our block of female filmmaker shorts, any filmmakers who are present will be there for the Q&A, but at the same time, we're going to Zoom in Alexis and some of the other filmmakers who can't be there in person. And they'll participate live with our live audience. And then we're going to record the whole thing and put it up online.
Oh, wonderful.
So we're trying to make it as dynamic as possible in the world of Zoom, which is challenging.
I love Zoom. I'm one of those crazy people that loves Facebook. I know people hate it, but a lot of people dislike it. But I love it because it allows people to connect.
Yeah.
It allows people, ooh, that was a big boom.
Wow.
That we have, to explain, we have a quarry, and they just exploded some rocks. So voila. But so it's not California where we have earthquakes.
Fires and
Fires and mudslides, but how did I say this? Let me start from the beginning. What was the question again? Now that I got shaken.
Zoom. We were talking about connecting with your audience through Zoom.
So the
talking about Facebook,
Zoom and Facebook and Instagram is that I grew up overseas. I grew up losing so many friends because we didn't have these avenues to be able to connect with each other. And people say, oh, Facebook is time wasting. For me, having lived in Paris for 7.5 years, having grown up in Russia, having grown up in Malaysia, DC, all these different places, these social media and Zoom and Skype allow us to connect with each other. And back in the 90s, back in the 80s, back in the early 2000s, we didn't have this accessibility. And so what's great about Zoom is that I'm not going to be able to be with you physically, but I'm going to be able to be there.
Yeah.
It opens the world up.
It really does. And it's been so important when people have been locked down, and to be able to continue to connect and share ideas and share inspiration, because your film, it's a short romance drama. It's still it's inspiring, it connects people to the power of friendship and love and reaching out. And I think that it's wonderful. And I'm really glad that we're going to be able to showing it at Reading Film Fest, and glad that you'll join us via Zoom after the screening on October 9th. So thank you so much for joining us, Alexis. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And everybody, tune in. Tickets are on sale at readingfilmfest.com, and your all access pass gets you into the stadium or online or both.